Hello, Mitchell Sellen here from West Jordan, Utah. I just wanted to make a note real quick that part of what I've done to try to stop the child abuse from happening and to get some resolution and to protect my kids, I've went over to West Jordan City Hall, spoke to the mayor. That was in 2017, where the mayor shared a story of his own with me, the fact that he was raising his granddaughter because of some issues and challenges that his daughter has gone through. But it came down to the fact that he said what everybody else has said for 10 years of trying to get her help. He's made the comment, "I'm sorry, but there's nothing that we can do for you," after having a discussion with him for about an hour. And I informed him of the fact that the mother had beat her stomach to kill my son, and some of the other things that she's done, like drown my daughter in the shower when my daughter was 2.5. She admitted to holding my daughter under the water in Benton County, Washington, but insisted that she was only washing her face for an extended period of time. I had ran 150 feet from outside with the horses all the way through the house, which was approximately 80 feet, to the bathroom, where I could hear my daughter choking and drowning, having a difficult time struggling to breathe. Then I flopped open the shower curtain, where I heard or saw her holding her under the water, where my daughter couldn't breathe and was choking. I asked her at that time, I said, "What in the heck are you doing?" In not so polite way. She said she wouldn't stop crying. My daughter was 2.5 at the time. She said that she wouldn't stop crying. So apparently drowning a daughter or drowning your child is somehow a way to stop them from crying. And I told her that she needed to pack her bags and that she needs to leave. So I brought her, after having sought out some assistance from the local bishop of Pahrump, Nevada, Bishop Holt. Eventually just got her down to Greyhound and got her away from my children again. 5 days later, she came back in a cab. The missionaries, which was Skinner and some others, were very familiar with the case and very familiar with her abuse, things that we were talking about. And they actually were so alarmed that she called them for a ride. She called them to ask them for a ride from Las Vegas back to this little town called Pahrump. And they called me. They did not offer her a ride. They called me immediately and told me, they said, "Mitchell, get those kids out of the house. She's on her way back." And that's exactly what I did. I met the missionaries down at a store, and at that point called police. Police refused to do anything. They stated, "She still has clothes in my house and we're still married. So for that reason, they will not intervene and keep her away or come and take a report or do anything. And subsequently, the police report that I filed just sort of disappeared, just came up missing later when I asked for it. There is a CAD call referring back to that phone call, though, and the two missionaries that were witnesses to the phone call. So again, just more documentation. I just want to document all of this. It seems to me that there's enough people or a few people out there that are trying to access the information that I have on my files and my hard drives. So before they become deleted and whatnot, I'm going to share those with you, so that this information will be made aware of, will be made public, which is what they're trying to stop. From day one, I've tried to get the mother help. She needs psychological help, and she needs to be away from my children until she gets that psychological help. She's told me before, she said, if I don't get the kids, you won't either, I'll kill them. And among telling my children that she beat her stomach to kill them, again, she said, when I was pregnant and you were in mommy's tummy, I beat my tummy to kill you because I never seen your face. That is completely unacceptable. That's harmful. That's mean, cruel. The act of telling a child that is mental abuse. The physical act of doing that is attempted murder. I don't really give a crap what the law says. When you try to kill a child and you know in fact it's a child in your stomach and you try to kill that child, that is a crime. I'm Mitchell Sellon, and for all you fathers out there, I encourage you to stay strong. I'm doing the best I can. I've got the entire state of Utah seeming to be coming down on my back. There's a huge group of people that are employed at state level. There's attorneys, a huge attorney group. Pretty much to narrow it down, all the folks that are in this movement, like Sean Reyes, Sim Gill, the Attorney General, which seems to be controlling or having the ability to sway attorneys. I've tried to and requested attorneys to help me on this case before, and after they speak with the prosecutor, they flop. It's an obvious flop. They refuse to help me. They take my money. For sure they take my money. And then they don't do anything. I've had more than a half a dozen attorneys flop on this case. Their goal is to strip me of everything, strip me of any ability to be able to fight this case. These people are state employees. Take, for example, Sarah Hauser, the head person for DCFS. It was directed to me to acquire her assistance. Washington, D.C., the ACF HHS, that's the Association of Child and Family Services, which is apparently over DCFS on a federal level in Washington, D.C., had suggested that I speak with Sarah Hauser, and so I requested that from her, only later to learn that, and I asked her to investigate it and look into it to stop the child abuse on my children. She replies, the case has already been investigated. There's nothing I can do. We need to cancel our appointment. She texted that to me twice in the same day. I guess that's just to reassure that she did not want to have that meeting with me. She was denying to help my children, as DCFS has denied for so long. to step in and stop the child abuse on my children. I'm going to show you again as soon as I get these ready here of the doctor reports, the counselor reports, the police videos, the pictures of the bruises, videos of my children acknowledging of the abuse, and all in fact which have been submitted. Also the stipulation of the mother handing over custody to me, only to find that the state was that was unacceptable for the state. So the state has put a target on me to come after me for no apparent reason other than I'm just a man, which is discrimination. So I'm just going to share this with everything. Listen, if you're a single father, you know you need to take extra precautions if you're going to go through a divorce and a custody battle. You need to take notes. Be careful about people that just end up in your circle, that just coincidentally just sort of happen to be there. You need to be really careful about suggestions. You know, people suggesting things. Well, I suggest to go with this attorney, or I suggest to go with these people, or for you to do something. Because it's the people that they suggest are involved in their organized crime ring. So this isn't a small organized crime ring. Utah has an extremely, very large organized crime ring that has to do with the police being involved, DCFS being involved, state employees at different levels in different areas, having to do with real estate, just individual people that are supporters of the group, this movement. So I encourage you to just write a timeline now, write out a timeline, document all the things that didn't make sense or doesn't make sense that's happened, and go back 5 years. If you do not go back 5 years, you may not be able to see it. The reason why they stretch it out that long is because the average person cannot make a connection. It's too difficult to make a connection between today and 5 years ago. First of all, the other thing is the courts don't want to look at yesterday. They only want to see what is happening today, especially and primarily only if it's representing a man. So if you as a man want to talk about things that have happened in the past few years, the court's going to say, no, we don't want to know what happened back then unless it's evidence against the man. If it's evidence against the man, the court will go back entire life, which is also discrimination. In my case, you know, there's been tons of crimes committed from the state, and the ones who are paying for it are my children. And my children has made it very obvious to them that they don't want to live with their mother, but they do want to see their mother. Even though she's abused them on multiples of occasions, it's still their mother. And so they're going to still have a little bit of love or some form of love for her. And that's to be expected. And I encourage that relationship, but I've also encouraged the fact that she stopped abusing my children, which she seems to not be able to do because she happens to be a very super vindictive person that not only is destructive herself, but is being aided by the state and supported by the state. I'm Mitchell Sillen from Salt Lake City. Have a good day.